Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Butler is here. And on the line with us live via Skype, he looks very handsome. He has a fresh haircut. It is comedian Simon Nash. How you doing, man?
Doing quite well. How are y'all?
Real good, real good. Besides the fresh haircut, what has been going on with you since the last time we talked to you and we talked to your brother? And we were talking sort of about the struggles of being an entertainer, especially in Orlando or locally, and trying to find, the normal workings that entertainment muns do when that's all shut down. So what's been going on?
Not a lot as far as the entertainment itself goes. I mean, I think a lot of people are catching up on some old Netflix shows. They're using their last $7.99 in their bank account to buy Hulu if they aren't caught up on any of that stuff. But, I mean, some people are working on some sketch things. I've been in talks with a couple of the heavier hitters as far as, like, local online stuff goes. Yeah. And some dudes that work over at SAC and do sketch comedy when that's a more regular thing. So I've been working on some writing, some projects, some things like that.
Nice, man.
But it's all just for some distant future that may or may not ever exist, right?
Yeah, sometimes I do sit and think, okay, here's where we're at. We've been in this strange holding pattern, and I've been in a bit of a Groundhog Day thing because I live about a block from the studio. So it's very weird that I was already doing quarantine before people were really quarantined because I'm a pretty boring person. But now that we thought we had the faults opening, and then now we're all back to, I think, being extremely cautious. And I've seen a lot of Zoom shows dry up. I've seen a lot of, like, even, small nights that were going on have now dried up again. We're back in this, like, ultra cautious. We're waiting for school to reopen. But I think we all know once school opens, if it does, which I think it will, then all bets are off, right?
Oh, I have no idea how people will react, but I think that your intuition about people just following kind of a norm or institution as steady as public school, people probably will just be like, fuck it, I'm going to bars. Whether or not it's because subconsciously they say it's okay, so it's okay, or because just the stress of being back in a regular routine demands that they decompress by interacting with other people in person and getting fucked up for more money than they do at home.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I wrote them down. You're all good to go, man.
Yeah. It's also, too, human beings can justify any behavior.
Yes.
They very good at that.
Yes.
So if you want to do something, you could talk yourself into it being okay and justifying it. So whether anything,
I do it every afternoon with alcohol.
Yeah. So that's another thing too. It's like, most people inherently, I think humans, and it's not saying anything bad about any. It's just like people tend to be like, self-serving first,
sure,
and then like your own self-interests usually trump other people's or whatever, your own family's, like what you want to do. So it's like you could justify just about any action. People have doing it forever.
Well, I mean, Simon, he's also calling in because he is in the Weekly, Orlando Weekly. He's been nominated for the best local comedian by the Orlando Weekly for the 2020, and it's the Reader's Choice Awards thing. We're no stranger to it. We've been in the awards, I think, for the last, God, I don't even know, like 8 years or something like that. And we haven't talked about it at all this year.
Yeah.
Simon is the only comedian that has asked us, or said anything about it. And I'm like, sure, let's get you on here and talk about it a little bit. Does it mean anything to you? Does it help you? Because I've had some people, podcasters, radio people, tell me, oh, that's stupid. That's the dumbest thing in the world. But I'll be real with you guys. Early on, when you and I were trying to start this business, something like that, being able to show an advertiser or being able to show a bar owner that we have hundreds of people, or 75 or 100 people that listen to our program, that can be a really big deal. Does it help you guys at all to like place well in something like that, or does it not matter?
Oh, I mean, I have no idea what the nomination process is like. So it's nice to be nominated for the first time, right? I don't know if that was like one person in a room being like, hey, this really should, whatever. Either way, the recognition, no matter what anyone tells you, it's a nice thing, right? The reason I think it matters is because comedy's dead, and so I want to win the last one.
Yes, yes, you do. Yeah,
You know,
and we've got.
If it were just business as usual, I would be like, ha, vote for Josh Silvers, whatever, you know.
And there's a lot of good names, like a lot of our buddy Ross McCoy's on there, our other buddy Ross Padge is on there. Like, there's a bunch of like people that we all know. Ryan Holmes is on there, you know. I mean, Carrot Top's on there. Why now? Really, Carrot Top? I mean, I understand he's from Orlando, but he doesn't do any shows around here. That shouldn't be local comedian, right?
No, he hasn't done anything in a long time. But he's a very, very nice guy.
Yeah,
I'm pulling this up because you said there's lots of other like great names, and I personally actually
Big Tim Murphy
issue with that because I'll go. I think they're alphabetical.
Okay, sure. Let's run them.
A. Ali Flores. Anti-vaxxer.
Okay.
Big Tim Murphy, good friend of mine, would rather be voted for Vape Shop. Bob Kodzis, don't even know who he is, anti-masker. Carmen Vallone, anti-vasker, anti-maxer, anti-vaxxer. Carrot Top, already covered that. Devin Siebold, just a hack. Emily Fontano, an angel and a very funny person.
She is.
Publicly endorsed me in the comment section
Whoa!
Of her Facebook post.
Nice.
Jean Torres supports bombing in Yemen. Jeff Jones uses the M word for little people. Don McConnon, just a fake Russian bot, clearly modeled after the Terminator character. Okay. Joshua Silvers, not going to sugarcoat it, just not funny. Ross Padgett, in bed with the mainstream media. Ross McCoy, essentially the what's that guy, InfoWars person of Orlando.
Alex Jones, he loves him.
Also in bed with the mainstream media. Tony Brent, you can vote for him. Zach Bennett, he's from Daytona, which is a reason not to vote for him, even if it weren't not Orlando.
That was
very well done.
That was a nice rundown. Yeah. I was going to go through them, but you did a far better job, and I don't have to worry about them writing emails to me.
They put a lot of choices there.
There's a lot to choose
Well, you
from.
should look at podcasts. You know, like people are like, aren't you guys going to talk about that, or don't you want votes? And I'm like, well, sure.
That's the other thing, too, because like Simon said, a couple of those people, he doesn't even know who they are.
Yeah.
Like some of the local podcasts, I'm pretty well-versed in the podcast community here, and I didn't know half of those podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never heard of these.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, we're on there. Here, guys, this is the reason why you probably shouldn't vote for us. I think we're on the podcast list twice. We're on there once as a mediocre time with Tom and Dan, and we're on there again as just Tom and Dan.
Okay.
That's how much. Just it's not even a thing. You know. I mean,
Simon, let me ask you this, because we're talking about Carrot Top. So you got a guy.
He's super nice.
That has been doing.
How is Ken Miller not on here?
Maybe because
I think that a lot of the people that aren't on there, first of all, it's a very dumb nomination process. However it works. Thank you for nominating me.
That's what I say too.
Secondly, I think Ken Miller not being on there is a lot like LeBron not winning MVP every year that he's been active in the NBA.
All right, I can see that. We love Ken, and he messaged me happy birthday, and nobody else did. None of you guys did, but Ken Miller did.
Simon, do you think that this will be the catalyst to a lot of comedians and entertainers retiring and just they realize because they can't do this whatever they've been doing,
or they can't
for
do
so
it the
long,
way that they want to do it.
Yeah, and then
or the correct way, the proper way.
And they'll be willing to, it'll go back. Who knows how long it'll take, but after vaccine and stuff, and things will get back to normal and shows and live entertainment and blah blah blah. But the time it takes to get back there, do you think that year or year and a half or whatever however long it takes to get back to somewhat normal, that's gonna make them you know what? I've been doing something else for this long. I'm just gonna continue doing that. You know what I'm saying? It seems to me like a lot of people even in entertainment and other things, they get used to the routine of doing what they do for so long that's why they do it. And then what this makes them stop, that they'll move on to something different.
Well, the word retirement's interesting there, right? Because when you say a lot of people retire, right, we're talking about people that are about my level or less professional. A lot of them. A lot of people just go to open mics, right?
Yeah.
So I think this will make a ton of people give up on their hobby, right?
Mhm.
But people that have writing credits, people that have like production credits, people that have Netflix specials, people with actual platforms, these people are all going to pivot, right? And there are certain people that are particularly well suited to pivot, like, say, Mike Birbiglia, who's doing a podcast now with everyone from like David Sedaris to John Mulaney on it, you know?
Yeah.
So I think there's a ton of room. People are going to keep producing media no matter what. The weird spot is like you got these guys that were making $40,000 to $80,000 a year doing cruise ships and stuff like that.
Right.
They're not going to make a viral podcast.
Oh, Killer Bees.
Well, you bring up the name. Like
Yeah.
we've had Bees in here a bunch, and I'm not even sure. I'm sure Simon knows who he is, but I mean, they couldn't be more polar opposites in like style and even
Right.
age. But Killer Bees comes in here, and we've had him on. Nice guy.
Yeah.
You
He's a standard like
Cruise ship.
journeyman stand-up. Like
Yes.
he's good at stand-up, and he'll do it like he does a cruise, like whatever
Well,
pays.
he's
he'll do
kind of
it.
coming in for a landing too. He's up in age. His
Right.
kids are.
That's who I'm talking
and
about.
he's
like,
coming in for a landing on the cruise ship, and he has no problem with it because he did his time. He did the road. He's got a beautiful wife and a family.
Yeah.
He's ready to retire, but still loves the game, right? So he's finishing on the cruise ships, and that is done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like not the people that you're talking about that could pivot easily
Yeah.
and stuff like, and not the people that are still like in the prime of their career, but like, and even Carrot Top is still a younger guy. I think he's in his like
He's
mid 50s,
55 something.
but what
60 maybe.
he's been grinding doing the same Vegas show for so long. Like I wonder because that is not going to exist for a while.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is the catalyst that makes him be like, well, I'm done with
I
like
have $100 million in the bank.
or is he going to go back like 2 years from now when the whole like the crowds and stuff like or whatever it is at a year and a half go back to doing it again?
Yeah.
Even with this much time off, I just feel like this much time off will give you a perspective to be like, well, maybe I don't need to grind as hard. Like he'll never have to work again.
Yeah.
Like he's
Simon, what do you
worth
think
$60
about
million.
that? I guess it depends on how much you like it, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's so funny to think about Carrot Top coming out of a 2-year hiatus, because you have the whole Louis scandal, right? And everyone was like, oh, like so many. I don't know if you guys heard this, but so many cult like Louis followers, and he's one of the greatest to ever do it, despite being clearly a scumbag, especially with the help of his agent, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's bad.
But they're just like, oh, when he comes back, he's going to absolutely kill it. He's going to address this so well. I never saw the special, not because I won't support him. I just didn't have $8 at the time.
I'll give it to you.
But
Yeah, with your
but
cash
it's
up.
so funny to think about, like, oh, after COVID, like, you give him 2 years, what's Carrot Top going to do with a pool noodle?
Yeah, exactly, because that's his thing. Well, the thing with I went and we watched the special,
Yeah.
And I was gonna say I wouldn't give you the $8. I'll just give you the special. I don't care. I mean, like whatever. I'll just Dropbox it to you. But it and it was good, but it wasn't like it wasn't like I watched it and I was like, kabam! That's the greatest thing ever. I think Chappelle's stuff has been like way better, but it's good. And unfortunately, I think there's a little bit of tarnish in my mind that I just won't ever look at that guy the same way. And I kind of hate that because I saw Louis C.K. live. Mike Aiello took me to see Louis C.K. when Todd Glass came out. Remember, we didn't even know he was on the bill, and Todd Glass came out and did like a whole set. It blew me away, and it sucked to see something like that.
And I don't know how much money. It'd be interesting, he'd probably never release it because of the backlash or whatever. But how much money do you think he made off that special? Like if you're just gonna
The new one, or
the new one that he came out after, obviously post the everything.
I don't know.
Like, what do you think? I mean, over $1 million?
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what do you think, Simon?
What do you think?
I mean, what, you get 100,000? Yeah. I'd say close to $1 million at least, right? 100,000 people buy it, and that's 0.8 mil, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I think worldwide. I mean, because it's on the internet. I mean,
True.
maybe more than that because the guy,
yeah.
you maybe get 100,000 people from Europe, Asia, India, like easy. Like, so then you got the United States. So it's like,
and there's potential merch boosts, et cetera, et cetera. I was just throwing the first easy, round number out there, and it's like already close to $1 million.
Yeah. So say you make a couple million, and it costs you, what do you think it costs to film that?
To rent the venue, tickets, and film crew. What do you, $50K, $100K?
Yeah, probably like $150K at the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like it was. It
was a real lean. You could tell it was lean.
Yeah, but still, so it's like, he besides from the writing process and all the stuff, he profited, let's say, $1.8 million. Not too bad.
Yeah,
so it's you can make a living.
Those tours too. You say the writing process, sure, that's work for him, but what people don't realize is that it's more work. But if you sell out the Improv 4 times, or 5 or 6 times over a weekend, you're making as much money as if you sold out the Hard Rock once.
Yeah.
Right.
And once you're disgraced but still a celebrity, that's your right. You're going to laugh factories. You're going to little improv side splitters types venues.
Yeah.
And you're working an entire weekend there, but you're making as much money as you would if you sold out the Hard Rock once.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Makes sense to me.
And then there's you could do it all online. The problem with stand-up is, a lot of the work is working it out in front of live audiences, and it's going to be interesting what is going to happen like a year from now, where there's that huge gap of comedians not being able to work out material in front of live audiences. So I wonder if it's gonna be this. It's kind of like there's meat was more expensive. There's like a gap in the supply chain.
Yeah, the supply chain broke.
So it's like you're not being able to work your material out in front of live audiences. I wonder what that's gonna do for specials and other just content a year from now, because
in a weird way, not to sound like Mr. Positive, but there is a weird, almost like a little bit of positivity I get from the creative process because it's kind of been turned on its head. So you're going to get people like I throw Simon, I throw you in that category because just following you on social media to give you a compliment is really fun, because some of your references and things that you say you're not going to get with anybody else. I happen to think you're super smart cat. So when I follow you, like you did a reference about something with Shia LaBeouf the other day, old Goof LaBeouf, because he does look like that author. I'm blanking on the name.
David Foster Wallace.
Thank you, David Foster Wallace. Who and when I saw it, I was like, no one else in Florida will write that joke. And it was super accurate and super funny. You know what I mean? Like, so that obscure stuff, I have a feeling that a lot of the guys that maybe fit the traditional work out the jokes in front of a crowd, traditional stereotypical stand-up, you're going to get other guys that maybe they
work
could do
on your
that.
Writing,
yeah, but they're going to go in a completely, maybe a direction we don't even know, or something we don't even know yet.
You're right,
and maybe we get something great, because think of the bands that are stuck in their houses right now, or maybe the
music content is going to go
I think
crazy.
Music content, I think in about 2 years, the albums that we're going to have, it's going to be this renaissance of these, like some of the greatest music you've ever heard, because people were frustrated and sad and scared and
had nothing
angry
else to do
and locked in.
Because you take away events. I mean, look at us, like our company. Like, we spent so much time planning and executing events, and then you take that, and then we have extra time for all types of things. Like we've been able to do more merch, and we've been able to even investigate
vacation,
opening up a different, portion of our business and other things like that we would never had time for, because so the productive people will fill the time with something, and we're going to get something else from this.
What do you think about that, Simon?
Well, I think a good comedian, I want to say it was John. He moved out of Orlando before I even started here. But I think he said something along the lines of Zoom comedy shows are more for the comedian than they are for the audience.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that's maybe like a playful joke, or maybe like a very harsh indictment, right, of what this process has become. And there's a handful of people, Carmen Morales, out of Orlando, who's in LA now, been there for a while, good friend of Marie Bamford now, amazingly talented comic. I would pay to see one of her Zoom shows, and then probably never pay to see another one again.
Yeah.
But But for the most part, I think trying to make this happen in a digital setting is really kind of dumb. What does make a lot of sense to me is Zoom open mics, where it's all comics, none of whom paid to be there, none of whom are enjoying themselves, doing 3 to 5 minutes of legitimately new material and bombing. Because that way you get the trial and error that you need, that has been the tried and true method of even the greatest stand-up comedians, is that they work their hour out on the road. The best comedians in the world, and I'm sure there are a handful of exceptions, I don't know everyone's process, but for the most part, the best comedians to ever live still live and die by trial and error.
Yeah.
They say, I'm 90% sure this is going to be a good bit, but I'm still going to go out and do it in front of 400 people and gauge whether or not it's good or not. Yeah. And I'm going to do it 3 or 4 times to make sure.
Yeah, and tweak it as you do it, realizing that the original, maybe it was not perfect.
And that's what makes it so beautiful and delicate to begin with. It's very, very difficult.
If people can figure out a way to really do that with stand-up, I think that there will be maybe, a handful of people with really good material. Obviously, Dave Chappelle is the exception, and the thing he put out wasn't even that funny. It was genius. It was brilliant. It was amazing. I cried.
But it wasn't stand-up.
It wasn't that funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure if he did that 50 times in front of a bunch of audience and then presented it to us, it would have been probably 10 times more funny.
It also could be completely different.
He would have worked it out.
Sure. Yeah. But I mean, my critique is more so. I'm saying that he doesn't necessarily need to do that nearly as much as most people do.
No.
Even greats do. Because his formula just seems to be so different, but also that his intent in putting that out wasn't to put out something that was particularly funny.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, I got something to say.
So I think that we're not going to have any shortage of media or art. I don't know on the production end. A lot of the places where this stuff, or rather the main place where this stuff seems to happen, seems to be doing a better job than the rest of this country. And I never want to alienate any of your viewers, but it is so exhausting for this public health crisis to be constantly made a political issue. So I don't care what California does with their taxes or where their stance politically is, but they seem to be handling the global pandemic we're going through considerably better than we are.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So yeah, that place where all the sitcoms are filmed, they're probably going to be fine in a year or 6 months. So I don't think comedy content's going to stop happening, but live performance in general and stand-up especially is in a really weird place.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's extremely weird. But you can vote for one of those strangely weird people in the Orlando, see what I did there, in the Orlando Weekly Awards 2020. Vote for Simon Nash. Do not vote for us, I guess. Well, we're not on that list. But you can vote for us. I'm not going to be one of those guys either and say, hey, don't vote for us. Vote for whoever you think is best. But, man, always a pleasure talking to you. Give your brother some love from us. And we hope to talk to you very, very soon. Hopefully one day we'll get you back in here.
Yes, absolutely. Whenever, I don't know, no one's dying from the flu anymore. But go check out Louis Loafers on YouTube. Vote for me on OrlandoWeekly.com. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, man, always a pleasure, man. We love talking to you, Simon. Be good. And we got to get out of here. Yeah, we're way late. So, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you tomorrow. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer's here. Butler is here as well. If you would like to leave us a voicemail message, and we would like for you to do so, you can download our app. Just wherever you get your apps. Your Android, your Apple apps.
App Store.
Your App Store. Grab the Tom and Dan app. Search A Mediocre Time or search Tom and Dan. It'll pop right up. Totally free. All of our content's on there. And, you can leave us a mediocre message. There's a little button you hit, and you'll sound just like this guy. Well, kind of like him.
So this is for ACT. I know that Tom didn't get much of a reception to replace stinky old EJ's bit, so I thought I'd give it a shot. I'm a lawyer up in Jacksonville, and I had what I think is a pretty groundbreaking idea. I don't think it's ever been done in radio or podcasting for sure. So like I said, I'm a lawyer, and I could call into the show. I could come in and I could have, people call in and ask me questions, and I could give them answers and stuff like that. And we could call it like Law Line or Mike makes the call or something like that. I think it's a pretty good one. I've never heard it before. So give me a call. Let's set it up.
Wait a minute.
904-329.
Oh, he gave his real
You've
number.
never heard about a lawyer being on a radio show and having people ask legal questions?
He's joking.
Yeah,
You're never going to beat Beefcake Ray Trenley, by the way.
What do you think is
I see
the
what you're doing.
most played out radio bit of all time?
Lists?
Yeah, but if you want to go more specific, because everything,
Yeah, let's
if
go
you
more.
think about
Let's
it,
dial
like,
it down.
We've done lists before. Like,
Yeah.
there's always lists to go
Pitbull
through.
topics, abortion. Like, we're talking topics?
The
Or
evergreens.
or like
Those
a
are the
bit?
evergreens.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, what is the quintessential? You know, there's a couple things that I've always thought were weird that you don't need anymore on radio. But I don't think you'll ever get radio to admit that they don't need these things. And the answer is because they're sold. And that's weather and traffic. I just don't
I went
think.
out went crazy against traffic, and I was like, and then people were like, no,
I think-
one time I heard there was a traffic block, and it saved my commute. I'm like, all right.
I think you can kill
One
weather
time.
too. Because when I get up, like my phone now, without even me asking my phone to do this.
Yeah, it alerts you like it's going to start raining in 5
No,
minutes.
like now, I don't know if your phone does this. I never put this feature on my phone. And tell me if you guys have this. My phone will give a little synopsis of everything I need to know in the morning. It'll pop up, and it has like my first appointments. So it'll usually say like, set up studio. I've got some stuff written in there for like my morning routine. Then it'll have the weather. Then it'll have how long it'll take me to drive to where I normally drive. And it'll say based on traffic. It has news synopsis of things that are going on in the world. Maybe a standard Amber Alert that went off in the middle. You know what I mean? Like it's got a myriad of everything that I need to know when I wake up. I don't even need to turn on the radio, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, everybody knows that. It's absurd that people even try to argue with the fact that your phone is taking over all this stuff, and we're still doing antiquated things like that. And the justification is that you're right, is it sold and someone's sponsoring it, so that's why you keep doing it. And then they're always like, well, my Uncle Bill. He listens to it every day. You're like, okay, well, how old's your Uncle Bill? In the 60s? Okay.
Yeah, there
well,
you go.
guess what? It'd be, he don't got that much time left, and this is being phased out. If you only refer to elderly people as to those are the people still listening, it's like a newspaper or something, then the writing's on the wall. Like it's being phased out. Like it's happened throughout our entire civilization. Like if old people are only into it, that it's dead. Or it's not dead yet, but it's dying.
It's just
Just
faster.
like them.
It's just faster.
It'll die
too.
with them.
Like I don't want to have to wait to hear traffic and weather. I just want to look at something immediately and process it quickly.
Also, why I don't want to hear traffic that doesn't relate to me.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like you're throwing out this giant cast net and be like, there's an accident on Lee Road causing blockage. Everybody who's not going through Lee Road doesn't need to hear about that. It's like it's why eventually I'm sure billboards will either change, like it'll all be digital, but it'll change to very specifically who's driving or something. Like it's gonna have to get more specific because this broadcast net advertising is not the way it is anymore.
They'll find ways, and they already are finding ways to get specific. I mean,
everything's going to that's why they listen to us. That's why our Alexa, and then they track everything we search because they want to direct market to the people that makes sense to direct market to. You don't want to market adult diapers to millennials. You're wasting your advertising dollars.
Unless they're really lazy people. You and your boys are very good swimmers. I've been watching your social meds and seeing that you and your boys are a couple of 3 flipmans. You love doing some flips.
Yeah.
What say you about this one? I feel like this one I will hand you this voicemail, sir. This is for you.
What's the rule for going into the ocean or a pool during a storm? If you see one strike of lightning, is it just game over for the whole storm? Or is it, if there's thunder, it's game over for the whole storm? What's the rule of thumb here? All right, I'll hang up and listen.
All right. I've got a lot of thoughts on this.
I figured you would.
because
Look at how happy he is. He hasn't smiled all day. You
Well-
get one voicemail that he can answer like an expert, and he's happy as a clam.
So I often am in the pool with my boys, and then a late afternoon thunderstorm will roll in, just like it tends to do in Florida afternoons.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's basically every day.
Yeah, it happens.
And so-
it always scares. By the way, this is the worst time of year. I call this anxiety season because every time that happens, I start thinking about the computers here, no matter where I'm at. I think of the computers here,
Yeah.
and then I go online and remote in to see if the power went off here. And if the power did go off here, it ruins my entire day, and I cry.
that's
Well,
good.
why?
Yeah, well, because I have to reset everything because our computers are limping along like old men.
But you reset it as good, so you
But I
should
get
know.
it. No, but it's like it's that constant up, down, up, down. It's like with my heart. It's like I'm yo-yo dieting. I'll be dead soon.
So anyway, so when we're in the pool, we're having fun, and then there'll be a thunderstorm off in the distance. I see it; it's gray.
Yeah,
and,
you're monitoring the situation.
There's always a thunderstorm, and then I hear it,
That's pretty good.
and then the old crow that watches over us comes out, yeah, and starts crowing at us to get out of the pool. She heard thunder, and then it ruins our time. Now, my theory on it is, and I started researching this, and I was like, well, wait a minute, let's look at this. How many lightning strikes into pools? And we think that we've done this. And I think listen, I don't know how to research the internet very well, obviously, and I'm an old dumb old man.
Oh man, you made
special needs
Samantha,
detective.
you made
all of-
Samantha special needs giggle. She
But
was
I did spend
like, you never laugh like that.
I concentrated
on
for
me.
15 minutes looking and searching the internet for how many
You had
verified
all of us looking one time
Yeah.
for this.
verified strikes into a pool in which people were in and died. And I think there was one instance
I think Sam found one.
of recorded record, and there's been others where pool strikes have happened in a pool. No one was in
Yeah.
there. Now, you could argue they got out in time because they followed the rule of you hear thunder, get out of the pool.
I think
but it's very
Sam
rare. So much
found
so.
one.
Yeah, so much so that it tells me that I have a 99% chance of not getting struck by lightning in my pool. And when you give me a 99% chance of anything, I'm like, it
Yeah.
might as well be
Let's
100.
run it. Yeah, that's what I say.
Now, to my wife, though, and to her whole family, she's not even willing to take the 1%
She's a
chance.
1%er.
Or
Oh, I can't say
0.01.
that anymore, right? Isn't that like, aren't you like a right wing
Yeah.
person, or is that
Or
the
a
3%?
bi-
I don't know what anything means
Don't
anymore.
talk at all.
Or if I
That's
make the
basically-
OK sign, I'm doing white power
don't do
or
that. How
something.
dare you?
Yeah.
And then
It's
I
a
heard Gru
Hell's
from the
Angel thing,
Minions
yeah.
did it, and then I didn't know Gru was a
Oh,
white supremacist,
oh,
but it
yeah.
made sense. He's a supervillain, and they're gonna hate some people, right?
shaved head.
And does that make all the Minions? Are they little yellow Nazis
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So,
that like bananas?
to answer your question, I do get out of the pool every time I hear thunder or whatever. But so far to me, in my rational brain, you shouldn't get out.
You
Just
know what?
keep swimming.
I want you to stay in there.
Yeah. You're not gonna get struck by lightning.
I don't think you will.
Chances are it's so
Do
slim.
you get out?
What about, did you guys grow up with the myth that
food.
you shouldn't take a shower
Yes.
while it's
Yeah,
lightning?
yeah.
Yeah, but
that's
I
true.
do that now.
You do it?
Because that's
Yeah.
fake.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
actually, no, I looked that one up. That one kills a lot of people right through the pipes.
No,
it
then
doesn't.
I think Mythbusters did that the whole thing.
Oh, Grant.
So yeah,
Bless your heart.
you can
Breast your heart.
you could take a shower, and that's you're fine. But here's the problem: you're in a lake or on the ocean in a boat, then it's different.
Okay,
Like,
what
you
about
can
a
get
shower?
struck
Why
by
is it
lightning-
different?
Well, because now there's nothing around you. For half of the reason why a lightning isn't going to hit straight in the pool is like there's trees, there's other taller objects around.
Sure.
When you're on a body of water, there's nothing, and then your boat is the
Yeah,
tallest
it's the
thing.
tallest
so
thing.
It's going
So
to
you should
attract
jump in
the
the
lightning.
water.
It's going to actually attract the
You
lightning.
should jump in
more.
the water and swim for the bottom.
Yeah.
What about
Jesus.
Okay, I'm in a car and lightning strikes my car.
You're fine.
What about I'm in a car and a power line lays on top of my car? Grab the door handle, right? touch anything metal,
Well, I think
get my hair blown out.
no, I think you're grounded because of the tires. So I think.
See, nobody knows any of this stuff.
Yeah.
I know your wife does. I know your wife
Lightning
does.
can strike your car, you'll be fine.
Isn't she afraid of in the car? Like she's afraid of, like the bridges and the seatbelt and the ravines and stuff. So she knows like car dangers.
Yeah, but only falling into a body of water. She's irrationally scared of that and thinks that the whole scenario you're going to be in the car.
That's why I keep my sunroof open even if it's raining. I gotta have a way out.
It's filling up with water, and she's paranoid of that.
Gotta buy that little tool to break your
She has
window.
them in every car, right?
Yeah, it's in every one of her cars. But by the way, I'll die trying to punch my window open.
Not knowing where the thing is.
Yeah.
Or because it's like in the bottom and you're moving on the bubbly cans and there's just I can't find my tool.
No, she zip tied it to my my stick shift.
Well, there's no way you'll get it off the stick shift now.
Well, yeah.
Zip tied.
Though I won't even reach for it. First, I'll forget it's there. Second, I'll have so much confidence I could punch the window open.
Yes.
That's what I'll wind myself trying to do it, and I won't have enough time to.
Oh, what a way to go.
Has anybody here
Sweet relief.
Yeah, I don't. Has anybody here been so close to a lightning strike that it like scared you?
Oh
Yeah, last weekend when I drove back from Titusville.
Well, you were in a car though. I mean,
It was, but
outside.
it struck like right next to my car multiple times, and I was like, "This is freaking scary."
Yeah. And by the way, I'm not saying don't be afraid of lightning, but lots of people die every year
Yeah.
getting struck by lightning. But it's usually golfers or like the old stand underneath a tree type of deal. I'm just saying in your pool. Based on my 15 minutes of quick search the internet, it seems like you're completely fine, and it's very, very rare and probable that won't happen.
Okay, we've been talking about choppers. We've been talking about pickers, the differences between choppers and pickers. We call Butler here a chopper because he can't stand himself if he's walking down the road and sees a tree branch hanging over. He'll chop it. He'll kick a yard sign down. He is if you had a sandcastle at the beach you made, he'd walk by and kick it. That's just the type of person he is. Somebody weighing in on that.
Hey there, guys. This is David calling in, listening to I think it was maybe BDM OG recap or one of those. And Dan brought up that he picks. He's a picker. And you guys are
Doing it
talking
right
about
now.
choppers. So is a chopper different from a picker?
Yes.
If Dan's incessant picking of things, if that's any different from say Butler's or
We played
Seth's.
this on Friday, huh?
No, I don't think we played that one, did we?
I think we've talked about it, but I don't know if we've played.
Yeah, I think he was weighing
Yeah.
in on us talking about it. But like picking to me is nervous energy.
Yeah.
And picking to me is a sign of extreme, almost uncontrollable intellect. And chopping is a sign of the 180 of that. Is the
Yeah. It's
pickers are angels and choppers are devils.
Oh, they're anxiety ridden. I now, not being a picker or a chopper, but more leaning towards the chopper. I'm gonna
You're
go.
chopper leaning.
Yeah. On the spectrum of chopper,
I have to admit something.
I'm on one side of it.
I gotta admit something. I don't know if you can say the same about your boys. My daughter's a chopper.
No.
Is she?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
My daughter is 100% grade A chopper.
Chop City.
Yeah, she chop it, everything.
She chops it.
Yeah.
She chops it all.
Oh, I found a new,
Chops, jumps on it,
a new trait.
flattens it.
You need to find out if she runs towards danger or away from it, because that's a new chopper trait we found out.
What did
Fight
she,
or flight?
Okay,
Yeah.
is it like here's a noise?
Yeah, here's a noise, or
Yeah, she go right to
Like
it. She has to investigate.
some argument.
Yeah.
I just saw Butler do it. He ran out.
What did he do?
Yeah, the neighbors were fighting. Like
The neighbors. This is a
Yeah.
like what? Like a business neighbor or
No,
somebody
no,
who lives above us?
There's houses right here.
No,
like,
I know, but I mean, like, I didn't know what you meant.
Yeah,
Like next door to us?
Yeah, no, yeah. I think it was the
Oh,
apartment.
the blonde, the hot blonde,
I
the
don't
one
know.
that I saw with her boobs out.
No, she moved out of that
Oh.
a long time ago. So one of the neighbors, anyway, they're yelling at someone. Then Butler immediately heard that yelling and then ran towards it.
Well, Butler's nosy as hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So is
But
my daughter.
That's part of the chopper.
That's part of being
Ah.
a chopper.
If you're a chopper, you're also nosy.
But
Yeah.
you know, like one of
Choppers are the ones that film World Star, Daniel's
Yes,
correct,
yeah.
or
Right.
that film when something's horrible is happening, and because they want to see
They don't
it.
help.
Yeah.
They just film.
9
Yeah.
out of 10 Karen videos have been filmed by a chopper.
Yeah.
It just
Because they see
happens.
an awkward scenario or whatever, they need to see it themselves.
I mean,
They'll
don't
often
stand
film
up
it.
for the person of color that's being yelled at by the Karen. Just film it, chopper.
Yeah.
That'll help.
Yeah. Well, it's easier
Than getting involved.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is.
for
No,
the
you're right.
chopper.
It's easier to chop.
But when I heard the yelling, I was
Mind
like,
your
well,
business.
I'm glad I'm not out there in that awkward scenario. But the chopper went running to go see. Then
Then he starts kissing the woman. He's fighting the man. Like,
No,
what
no.
was he doing?
No. Then the guy came walking because the girl, I guess,
This is so
the
awkward.
girlfriend kicked him out. And so when Butler ran out to see what's happening, the guy was walking out,
Oh,
and then the guy's
God.
like, "Oh, sorry," and then Butler's like, "I'm sorry," and then there was
Oh,
an
they did the
awkward
double sorry?
Sorry.
There was an awkward exchange
Oh.
because the guy knew that Butler was running out to hear what
Because
was
he
going
thought
on.
there was domestic violence.
It's kind of like a chopper will hear a plate break at a restaurant. And then
clap.
and then look
Yell
at
something out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll be like,
Yeah.
And then where
Sure.
I don't even want to bring attention to it.
Don't even look
'Cause
back. Yeah.
First, I figured, okay, a waiter or waitress dropped the plate, which
Sure.
because they're carrying a bunch of plates, and then they also, I probably feel bad about it, and the least attention drawn is better for them, right? So I will
have to
continue
admit-
eating and not say
Right.
or even look.
This might make you like me more because I think I found my first entrance into maybe being close to Chopper.
Oh,
And if I want to make my wife mad, if we're at a restaurant, because it will make her mad, if we're eating and somebody does drop a tray or something and it goes spilling everywhere, I'll go, oh, like just to make her.
Yeah, that's
because then
different,
people
though.
will look at me as if I'm the D head, which it is.
Well, you
kind
are.
of. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Yeah,
but
but-
it's not. I'm not doing it because I want to.
But you're doing it to embarrass your wife.
Yes.
But that's also D-head.
Oh man!
but that's
Hold on, I gotta write
That's a
that.
personal D-head
Hold on, I
move.
gotta write that down.
and that's if your intent.
That's my favorite Depeche Mode song. Personal D head.
Your intent
Your own
is to
personal
purposely make your wife uncomfortable. That's different. A chopper generally believes he needs to applaud the breaking of the plates. or
Well,
maybe
it's like an
a-
attention thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well,
he's like, look at that. Like he was like,
Way
he
to
kno-
go!
He knows what happened.
Yeah.
Of course
Okay.
he does. Like
Yeah.
you're in a restaurant, the dishes fell. Like of course it happens. Probably
Once a day.
yeah, once a day or multiple times a day.
Okay,
But the chopper needs to tell everybody that he heard it too.
I don't know why Tactical Hat. I don't know what they're talking about in the Twitch chat room. Twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. But Tactical Hat just said, I was sitting at a bar once and some larger woman came up to sit at the bar and the stool exploded beneath her.
How did you react though? Did you laugh? Did you try and help
no,
her up?
When older people fall and they especially Meemaws, not Peepaws, but I'll laugh at both. Look, I'm just being real, and you guys all know you'd laugh. When they fall, they do that move where they fall like babies, where they don't just crumple and lay on their back. They roll up, like they
Yeah.
fall and then their legs go oop like over their head.
It's because their spines are curved because
Yeah,
they shrunk
yeah,
when they
it's
got old.
Osteoporosis. They're built like a highlight wicket.
Also, the older you get, the less.
We know this.
Yeah,
Not limber.
Yeah,
You have this.
You're not used to falling, so you start falling in weird ways, and you're rolling. You're like, why does this happen?
Yeah.
because you're like,
Where am I going?
yeah, because
You gotta take some tumbling classes as you get older.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm not used to falling, so I was like, oh, I'm rolling a little bit extra.
Roly
Like,
poly.
yeah. It's just because you haven't fell in a long time, and your body's not used to it.
There might not be more than I enjoy than a chair exploding under
It
a
is.
person.
It's pretty good.
Dirty Jim Colbert sat on remember my old footstool? We were playing Rock Band, and he sat on it. There's
Yeah.
a piece of plywood in the bottom of it. Comes from IKEA, and he sat it on the piece of wood in the bottom, just goes, go! And like blew out.
but then
And then he fell through, and he got stuck.
He fell into the frame of the footstool, so his feet were up, and he was like squished in there. And
He couldn't get out.
And then he was like, God damn it. We never.
We didn't
fell
help
out.
him. We didn't help him.
Oh, we fell out laughing. I almost.
I think I started throwing up. I was
wee-wee in my
laughing so
pants.
hard.
Wee-wee.
I couldn't breathe.
And then he had to do that move where if you're stuck like that, if you're stuck in a cardboard
You
box
need
or
to
something like
rock
that,
over.
yeah, you have to rock over, and then you have to like wiggle your way out, and
Yeah.
nobody was helping him. Oh
No.
God!
Oh, we
if I could,
laughed.
if I could relive that right now, I would forego seeing my daughter being born.
Yeah.
So much more
Yeah,
entertaining.
like the chair breaking, especially if you're
God, it's good.
an old man or you're overweight. You know,
Oh,
not
it's
not
great.
so funny if you're just a skinny person.
Yeah.
Like you're just like,
Oh, that chair was already broken. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, that sucked. Can we get a fat person over here, please?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. And you'll see like a really big person like Tim Murphy. He'll eye the chair he's gonna sit in.
Oh, he's told us that before. Yeah.
to see if it could support him because he for sure has broken some furniture before.
I don't know.
You know. Yeah. Oh,
I saw a guy
put
dump
a
his.
$1,000 bet on that he's broken some piece of furniture sitting on it.
I saw a guy dump his bike yesterday, and I had to laugh, but I didn't laugh at him falling. I laughed about what he did afterwards. The fall was not funny because not all falls are funny. A lot of them are, but this one was not. So he's on a bike and he's clipped in. So he's doing that move where he's trying to keep his, balance
Yeah,
at
yeah.
a light, but he couldn't, and he was going. He couldn't clip out. I know what it feels like. I've done it. Like I've done that move before. It's very common. And he fell over. Not funny, but
I watched a kid eat S the other day riding her bike, and I laughed and
this guy,
laughed.
he got so mad, he clipped out on the ground and picked his bike up and threw it.
Oh, that's
And
the rage thing.
It was the
Yeah.
rage, and we're going to talk about this on the Friday Free
Right.
Show. But it was the after the fact rage. The fact that a grown man. Now I do it again. This is a trait I have. I have a bad temper. But when I see guys like that, I honestly believe it helps me control my temper.
Because you're like, I don't want to be that guy.
Because
Yeah.
there's nothing that makes you look more like a child than when you're a grown-ass
It's a tantrum.
human and you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
something like a toddler would do. It was a full-blown tantrum. He threw, get this, I know bikes. He threw in upwards a $5,000 bike
That's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
because he had fallen over. Plus, he probably didn't look like he'd been riding that long. And he dumped it, and then he threw a fit. But, man, it was funny.
There's only two routes you can go when you do something embarrassing. It's you laugh
Right.
and you do the you look around and you're like, okay, give it to me, You don't even know you're just people just sitting in the car. Or you go ultra mad and then there's like, oh, that guy's mad. But it makes the spectators laugh at you more.
What if
by
you
the way.
What if you just start crying and act hurt? Because that's the third route.
Yeah.
Then you
I've
get
got
sympathy.
I've got a fourth that
I'll
I
laugh
do.
to it.
I've got a fourth. I got a fourth that I did with my daughter.
If
when
I know
she was
it's-
laughing
yeah.
at me on the electronic skateboard when I fell. I just laid there and just kind of let it soak in.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of accepted my
Take a
fate.
moment,
Yeah,
yeah.
take a moment. I needed a moment.
Yeah. It's it never occurred to me to cry from pain.
All right, Mr. Robot.
It's weird.
more
and
like-
it's getting worse.
I've
He-
been-
when I met him, I swear to God, he had some feelings. I
the-
swear to God.
But pain is like,
He had 'em.
"Ah, ah," it's like you're excruciating pain. I've been in excruciating pain. It's like, "Yeah," but it's like, it never occurred to me
You're
like,
turning into
what
a
would,
monster.
what would crying do to help this situation?
Okay, Brock beat him in our Twitch chat room, and we have to take a break, but I'm going to read this one. He said, there's two bands that people work out with.
Yeah.
He said, I had two bands slip and whack me in the T's, and I threw those S's across the room in blind rage.
Yeah, I would do that.
Those things hurt.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even mess with those.
Those elastic bands hurt.
And when they whack you, oh, it's so hard.
Oh,
it's
it's so bad.
It's such a slap too.
And it's usually in the T's.
Yeah.
I'll
It's just, yeah!
I will tell you one of my favorite things to watch when I'm scrolling through Facebook. Like they'll land on like exercise equipment fails, and it'll be a compilation of people.
Arm bars in the doorway,
Yeah.
falling.
Or like they like there's some guy at the gym that doesn't know how to use the equipment, and he's got one leg and he's trying to do something, but it's wrong.
Oh,
Right.
And then it whips him back. And he's like in a crowded gym, and it's like, oh, so embarrassing. Like all that, or the old you're bench pressing and then you can't get the weight up and then it falls and you have to roll it down into your belly and then it slides to the right.
Have you ever
and
done
there's
that?
like, king, 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 king.
Have you ever done that? I've done that.
No.
It's really embarrassing. And the other thing that I do, and I
when I was a kid,
I don't know if you do this, but I do this. Like when things get increasingly when I'm pushed to my breaking point, like, so you're trying to push that, that bar off you and you got whatever weight on it and it's too much and it pins you. There's that moment where you think, okay, well, if I get my second wind here, I can push it up and put it on there. So you try and you get halfway up, but then it's beating you. It's going to beat you.
Yeah.
And then it pins you again, and then you got no more gas.
Yeah.
I start laughing. I can't not like I get like I used to do it with Michael, our strength trainer. Like I get to a point where I can't do it anymore, and then it's like a weird
exhaustion, and like you get this euphoria. You're laughing at like
it makes me laugh almost like the Joker or something. It makes me like a crazy person
because like you can't with all your might change the situation. So
there's nothing I can do. I'm gonna die here.
Yeah, you're maniacally laughing. Because you have no.
Now Michael told me, he's like, well, that's a weird interaction. Like a reaction. Like I guess a lot of people don't do that, but
it's funny every time.
That's my thing. We're gonna take a little break. Come back with more A Corporate Time right after this. It is another Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here. Butler is here. Go to tomanddan.com for all things Tom and Dan. We got brand new merch on there. Lots of great stuff that you can pick up. A captain's pack with floating keychains, an old like 80s style koozie, the big foamer koozies. They work great. They float, help you find your beverages. And what else do we have on there right now? Is there a couple of new shirts?
A new hat, new masks, charity masks. We'll order a bunch. So if you're interested in that, we're giving all the money to Yellow Brick Road Foundation. Almost going to be able to buy them a new wagon.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I think we're a couple $100 away from $1,000.
Yeah, we can probably make that happen. Yeah, we'll definitely make that happen. Now, Samantha set this up, and I don't know why we set this up, but
we had a listener that suggested that we reach out,
which is great because I have been following this guy for some time now. And when you suggested it, I go, well, that's really weird because I follow him and I kind of follow what he's been about for many, many years. And on the line with us right now, live via Skype. And Paul, I don't know where you're at, but we've got basically lo-fi musician and
YouTube
the
star.
Original vlogger.
Yes.
Original vlogger, Weird Paul Petrowski's on the line. How you doing, man?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you being on the show. Now, I found you, I want to say I found you on Instagram, and that led me to your YouTube. But I mean, for people that don't know who Weird Paul is, like, and kind of the character, or not so much a character, it's you. How did you start becoming like? And I know you've been vlogging, or at least being, a guy that's used a video camera and documented things since what, like 1984?
That's right.
So, like, how did you get into like being a videographer, and you've done this for how long now?
Oh, well, 36 years now.
That's crazy.
Almost.
Yeah,
Wow.
It is crazy. How did you get into doing that? Was it like you just got a video camera as a gift and then the rest is history?
Well, sort of. When I was young, 10 years old or so, I started talking into tape recorders, recording what I was doing every day, talking about my life and everything. And I used to think, wow, it'd be really cool if you could add video to this, and be able to show it and save it to show other people. And so it took a few years, and my dad was always into getting the latest technology. So we saved up and got this video camera. And it was his idea that I shouldn't touch the camera, that I should never touch the camera.
Sure.
He was going to be the one to use it, not me. But I took it over immediately. I just knew that it belonged in my hand, and it was in my hand every day from then on, whether he liked it or not.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you're doing that now too. And I think I'm 44. I don't know if we're close in age. I would imagine we're closer than most people, but
I'm 49.
Yeah, I remember my dad bringing home the shoulder Panasonic. And I also, maybe that's why I related to you, because similar ages, similar interests. I love it when you dance back through. And for people that don't follow you can go to YouTube, search. I think it's a Weird_Paul. Very easy to find. Just search Weird Paul. All his videos pop up. But you do like almost like a Wayback Machine walk through like old VHS tapes, and it's one of the greatest things I've seen on YouTube, man. I really, really, really enjoy it. And I too was one of these kids that kind of played with our video camera. I know you did that too, Tom.
Yeah. And especially because at the time it was like unheard of technology to be able to like.
It was like magic.
Yeah, to be able to personally film yourself and then watch it back on TV. It was something that was not normal to us. So it was definitely a novelty at the time. But I'm wondering, like, when you started recording yourself every day, was there any rhyme or reason to it? Did you set off like a goal, like, hey, it's kind of gonna be like a daily diary where I'll tell the camera about what's going on in my life?
Yeah, was it super organized?
Yeah, or is it just random, anything that came to your head?
Yeah, it was nothing so organized. It was much like it still is to me. It's just, I have this idea. I have this great idea, and it was whatever I thought I wanted to do that day. I had no shortage of ideas, So.
Now we can see, we have you via Skype. I'm looking. I can even see some videotapes behind you. I guess my next question for you, like, knowing that you started with this video camera, let's say 84, let's just start there. How hard was it for you, your family, namely you, to collect and maintain the amount of content? Like, the tapes are not small. Now they are because they're basically non-existent. But, but like, how were you able to maintain
and organize and keep? And like, did you want to make sure to keep every single recording? And did you have any purpose behind it at first?
Well, I mean, luckily, my parents were, everybody always says to me, how do you still have all this stuff from when you were a kid? And luckily, I didn't have the kind of parents that, would just get rid of my stuff. It was always up to me whether I wanted to keep something or not, I decided what I was going to throw away. And I did throw away a lot of stuff that I regret throwing away. But I just knew that these recordings were important. They were important, even as, if nothing else, it was family history. It was a way. Everybody has photos from back then. Everybody had a regular camera. Yeah. Not everybody had videotapes. So I just knew it was important to save it. And unfortunately, they didn't get all saved in one spot or anything. And over the last 10 years, there were so many missing. And my dad would say, I found another one. And I'd run over there to get it, because I hadn't seen it in so many years. And there's still one whole 6-hour tape missing. We still haven't found after all this time. It's over there somewhere, but they just haven't located it yet.
That's crazy, man. Now, you've also done a myriad of music releases, 50 plus, I think. And was music the first love, like rock and roll, or writing, funny songs, quirky songs, and quirky music, or was really documenting and doing videos the first love?
I didn't really get into I was really late getting into music because I didn't have any older siblings, and my mom and dad were not real into music. I mean, every once in a while they'd buy some record that was popular on AM radio or something, but I didn't have a lot of exposure to music. The first thing I was really interested in as a kid was TV and watching movies. And so I think that played a lot into me wanting to be able to film myself and that kind of thing. But, once I did get into music, I tied it all together. I wanted to film myself lip syncing to other people's songs, and then I got a guitar. At first, I just wanted to use the guitar to mime, in these videos I was making. It wasn't really playing it. I just wanted to pretend I was playing it. But then I realized, hey, I can play this. I can play this thing. And that's when I started writing all these crazy songs.
I'm interested, Paul, to when you discovered, or when did you discover the internet and your ability to share your videos to other people, or like, because before the internet, I imagine there was no way for you to really share what you've been recording to the public or to anybody else.
His band could play out or something, maybe. But how did you do that?
And when did you discover that ability, and how much did it change your perspective of what you were doing?
Well, it was not a lot of ways to get people to see it back then. I mean, I shared it with friends, or I would show it in school in some classes I was in, things like that. My dream was always that it would be shown on some sort of TV show, but there was, like, America's Funniest Home Videos came around eventually, and it was sort of that kind of thing. But we didn't really have that much when I was a kid starting out doing this stuff. So I didn't really have any kind of audience for it, and I didn't get on the internet until 1999, I think it was, and even then it was web TV. I had a web TV for years and years.
Yeah, I did too. This is funny, man.
And I didn't get a computer until 2005. So I was very late to the game. By that time, YouTube already existed.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how I was going to get those videos up on YouTube, but I knew it had to be done. And it took a few more years. It was around 2011, 2012 by the time I figured out, I need to buy these cords and I need this thing to convert the signal and all this. Right. It was a lot to figure out. It took me a long time. But then once I had it figured out, I uploaded every day for 365 days. I uploaded a video to YouTube.
Wow, man. That's crazy. And like now, like when you do things, and you've always, and I think many publications that I've read about you or they talk about, they always refer to you as like a lo-fi, musician or a lo-fi video guru. Is that something that you kind of call yourself, or like what would you even call what you do as, Weird Paul? Just an entertainer? Like how would you
categorize it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, the lo-fi thing is because of the fact that, I've never had any money in my life. I've never been able to buy what everyone else goes out and gets the newest thing.
Yeah.
The new technology, the thing that makes it look even clearer and sound even better. I've never been able to do that. I've always had to use stuff that's falling apart, and that's what I believe is lo-fi. You could also say that's punk. That applies more to music, I think. But it's a very punk aesthetic to be using. I still use VHS tape to make my videos on YouTube.
Oh my God!
There's very few people
I didn't
that
know
do
that. I absolutely did not know that. And it does, but it does add to the style, the warmth. However you want to cut it, the way it's a completely different form at that point. Wow, that's completely interesting. Does it slow you down or make it more challenging to have to do that?
I've had a lot of people say, why are you doing this? It's taking more of your time. You can just put the camera. But it's not for me because I've gotten so used to it that it would take more time for me now to use something that I have no idea how to use. And I have created a little, whatever you would call it, a pattern or something. I make this like a TV show, I know where the edits are going to go. I do it. It's all scripted. So it's not like I sit there.
It's your workflow.
I watch a lot of YouTube where people are just babbling on and not saying anything and saying they keep repeating themselves. And I don't do that because I have it down to where it's like I want to make it like something I would want to watch.
Yeah,
I don't want to watch somebody babbling.
And Tom, you'd like it because he's quick and it's no BS. I mean, like when he did his VHS, he's going to walk through a couple of tapes that he found. He's playing his sound effects. He's just holding the mic up there to get the sound effects out, and he goes right into his bit. And I like it too because it's kind of like what we do here. I mean, we have really nice equipment, but we don't have the best equipment, and we pride ourselves on doing what radio stations do on about $500. Which I really like that. I mean, I do pride myself in that. So that's another reason I probably identify with you is I like overusing old equipment, man, because if there's nothing wrong with it, why get something new?
Right. I guess I do look at myself as just like an all-around entertainer. I mean, at first I really just thought I was a musician, and then I realized, I have these other talents, and I really feel like I could do anything now. I really feel like I could do anything, and I would like to have a TV show even, I feel like I can do that. I can host a show, I can do comedy. I can do anything.
Yeah. I like that confidence.
Well, Paul, I'm interested in when you figured out how to monetize what you do and like the business aspect, because I'm sure obviously when you started out doing this and you're like, I could do a TV show, I could do this. And for sure you could, but then you have to go through the proper channels and there's a vetting process, and there used to be a world where you'd have to someone would have to let you on the airwaves, you'd have to get to a certain point, you work your way up, and now of course with the internet you can just put out whatever you want, and that's what you've been doing. But there's also a way to monetize that, and I'm interested, like, when did you figure out, like, was there one particular point it was like, I can monetize this?
Like, is this your job now?
Well, let me just say, that's the great thing about the internet. I mean, a lot of people say a lot of bad things about the internet, but the great thing is now that anyone can do something and reach everyone. Yeah. Because when I was, I was a teenager putting out music, it was hard. And I did get an album released on an independent label that got sold all over the world. But it was still, whether people found it or read about it in a newspaper or, somebody wrote them a letter or something, it was still hard to get the word out. Now it's just at the tip of everyone's fingers, what I'm saying? So it's really great. I I'm never good at the business side of things.
Yeah.
I've never been.
Me neither.
That's why I'm still working at Spencer's at the mall. That's still my job because I don't
it's the
really know
best store in the world.
What's that?
I love
best
that store. Yeah, Spencer's is dope, man. I mean, I shout out to Spencer's. I'm a fan. I like a card with a guy that's got an erection.
Oh man, I don't know if you know anything about the Spencer's business, but they've got to be real worried right now in this current time. So
let me tell you, we are doing better business than ever.
I was going to say, Priya Mike's wife works for Spencer's as well, and she says they're busier than ever.
Yeah.
Is it online or
no? At stores. The malls are back open.
Yeah.
I didn't know
open,
that.
Yeah.
I'm back at work. I was off for a while, laid off, but I'm slowly working on it, and it's getting better and better. And at some point somebody reached out to me who is partnered with YouTube and said, we could help you to get your videos monetized. And so I did that and everything. YouTube, it's hard to make money on YouTube. It really is. It's a very limited amount of income you can make on there. But I just started live streaming on Twitch, which I'm really excited about. And I'm live streaming with my same video camera.
Oh, that's
from
so
back
great.
from the 90s. And it has the same look as everything else I do. And I'm the only person live streaming, I think, on Twitch with an old video camera. So I think that's
great. Really neat, man. And again, if you want to find him, and we'll link to it because we're on Twitch right now. We'll link to you, twitch.tv/weird_Paul. But go and throw him a subscribe, throw him a sub and support his channel as well, because we've enjoyed Twitch, and Twitch, it goes directly to your viewers. Your viewers can then
tip you
or support what you're
subscribe.
And we actually had the cameras that we actually use in our studio were actually purchased by the gifts from the people that watch us on Twitch.
Yeah, and obviously Paul, that there's plenty of YouTubers and Twitchers, if you want to call it out there, that make not only a living but a great living. They're multimillionaires and in everywhere in between. So we make a little bit of money off Twitch, and there's people that make $100K off Twitch or $50K or $30K a year. It's like then you got millionaires that make $300K a month. So I'm also interested in your content. So is any of your content planned? As me and Daniel produce content every day, Monday through Friday, and we have loose plans sometimes and ideas, but most of it's improv.
Well, it's a conversation.
Yeah, most of it, and that's easier for us to do just because we've got other people in the room. We're talking, we're having conversation and stuff
Sure.
So when you're producing content by yourself, and that's a very specific talent.
It's ballsy, man.
Like me in radio, we used to work in radio, and there was the radio guys that did their shows by themselves.
It's very difficult.
Me and Daniel used to say, that is a talent that has to be, there's a lot of reps involved, and that's a specific talent
He can do it.
Not everybody can do, and I'm interested in that. You've had an insane amount of reps over the years, but is it just turn on the camera and you can go and improv, or do you have any plan?
Well, everything I shoot for YouTube is very planned because, like I said, I feel like I'm creating a TV show and I want it to be watchable. So I don't want to sit there and have to be thinking about what I'm going to say next.
Okay.
But the interesting thing about Twitch is, since it's all live, I have to sit there and start riffing, and I'm just doing spontaneous comedy about stuff. And also, I'm taking requests from people what songs they want me to play. And so I sit there and try to make it more interesting every time. And I think I got a little bit of that talent of doing all that because my band and I did a live variety show for 2.5 years. And so we'd have to sit down and write all these jokes and write all these skits and things, which we never practiced. We just got up on stage and did them. And you weren't really sure how it was going to turn out until after it was over. So I think that gave me that sort of live sketch comedy thing, gave me a little more practice for what I'm doing now on Twitch, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it, and I think that the viewers are really enjoying it.
Paul, would you be if someone came to you and asked and said hey, I could show you through these steps how to not only make a living but make a good living off of just doing what you're doing, your Twitch, your YouTube, your content, your independent content providing, and you won't have to work a job again. Would you be interested in doing that? I mean, some people aren't.
Some people want to keep it more of their secondary, their baby, their hobby, their love.
Yeah.
I absolutely don't want to keep it my secondary hobby. I want it to be what I do. That's just my destiny. This is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And it took most of my life to get to this point where it's a possibility. But on the other hand, I don't want to play by anyone else's rules. I'm going to do it my way. Why else would I be using a video camera to stream live? I'm not going to do what people say you have to do specifically to get this or to get that. YouTube's a good example. Now they want you to make videos that are a certain length, and they want you to upload one every single day. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the way that I want to do it. And whether that gets me where I want to be or not, that's irrelevant to me.
Yeah,
I
love that.
And if I get there, good. And if I don't, that's the way it goes.
I love that. Now, and look, I'm gonna tread lightly here because I don't know how sensitive this subject is, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. I love the way that you have your hair, but I'm sure I can see that some people would ask, why would you want to have a haircut like that? I get it a lot with my flat brim hats and the way that I dress. People they say, "Oh, why do you dress like that?" How long have you had your hair cut like that, and why do you continue that? Because it's just something you like?
It's your brand?
Is it your brand? Like, why?
Well, I have a video on YouTube. It's my most watched video, too. It's got over 100,000 views.
There you go.
And the video is called How I Do My Hair. And it tells the whole history of my haircut. But I had a haircut similar to this. A lot of people say, oh, he's had this haircut his whole life. I had a haircut similar to this when I was a young child, when I was in my early teens. It wasn't exactly this haircut, though, but it was very similar. But it wasn't until 1988 that I gave my mom a picture of Johnny Ramone, of the Ramones, who are my favorite band. And I said, I want my hair cut like this. And she cut it like that. And I've had it like that almost since. It's been always like this.
I love that.
Yeah,
I think it looks great.
You have great hair.
You really do have great hair. It's so good. It almost, you're right, Sam. It almost looks fake.
Right.
But it's also part of your brand now,
Yeah.
too.
This guy
It's like-
understands his brand. He uses the camera. He likes the VHS.
Yeah.
He's got the hair.
Yeah,
These
you're
are my
right.
awards for the local city paper every year.
Yeah.
An award for best hair, 2017, 2018, 19.
yeah.
I've won best hair every year, and they don't have the category this year. They announced the nominations, and there's no category. So I figure they just said, forget it.
No one's going to beat you.
You know what, weird Paul? Hold on.
Here in Pittsburgh, and I always tell everybody that comes up to me in Pittsburgh, I say, I'm sorry, you don't have the best hair. I'm sorry I have to tell you that, but it's true.
Hey, Paul, you just showed me something that it makes me laugh because
I think we're going to have the same thing. It's that the plaques get worse. All right.
Yeah.
Right, and then
Okay, Paul, this is
there was
gonna
a
be-
joke on The Office
Okay,
the other
Paul.
day about this, so this happens everywhere.
Okay,
but
Paul, this is gonna get a little weird and freaky, but this is how I know that it's destiny that we met you, and it's destiny that we've been interviewing you, and we'll interview you again. Maybe we'll just have you live from Spencer's. Give us the Spencer gift of the week or something.
So any local publication that gives out awards, and we've seen it with
We
the
have 'em in
Orlando
our
Weekly,
lobby.
like they the first award we got is always like nice on a plaque, like they spent some good money, and you're like, whoa, this is good quality.
Then the next year it's good.
It's good, but it's like something's missing. Like maybe they took off like the
One
actual
feature's gone.
the wooden plaque. Maybe they took off the bevel, and now it's just like flat, and then it goes all the way down, so it's a certificate under a piece of plastic glass.
Yeah, it gets worse and worse until eventually you just get the crappy little frame that they got from the craft store, and we have the same thing happen here. This year will just be a coaster.
No, you got to print out your own.
They usually
Memorial
make you buy
coaster.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
They give you the printout, and they're like, if you want to buy it from this plaque store that's like an internet ripoff.
5% off.
Yeah. It's $38. We're not spending the money anymore.
Well, Paul, thanks so much for the time, man. We appreciate you taking some time to chat with us. If people want to find you, YouTube, search Weird Paul. On Twitch, which we're on right now, Weird_Paul. Twitch.tv/Weird_Paul. There you go.
Yep.
You got it.
Thank you so much, man.
Hey, man, thanks for the
Thank
time.
you.
And
Thank you
hopefully
so much for having me.
let's do it again sometime, man. Take care.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Boy,
Bye.
He is the sweetest man in the world.
He's very nice.
How many subscribers does he have?
33,000.
I can make him a living.
I know you can.
Yeah.
Get him out of Spencer's.
Why did you see what I thought?
Yeah.
Now I didn't think of it ahead of time. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah.
But as soon as we started talking to him, I'm like, oh my god, this is what we've been working. Well, what you've been working on, namely.
I literally and
Have you seen his website? It's awesome. It's very lo-fi.
Yeah.
if he gave me
Old school.
3 months of working with him, I could easily make him what he makes at Spencer for
His
sure.
songs
Like,
are super quirky and funny.
let's say he pulls in 40 grand a year at Spencer's if you're a full-time manager or something. You know,
Yeah.
like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Like, but like that's doable.
Oh, I think he could.
That is doable.
Well, he's doing all of this. Now, keep in mind, Tom, he's doing all of this while he works at Spencer's, and I think he could still get a couple, maybe get a person in to help him or something, and
Spencer's
and do both
to promote him. Like he's been a
Yeah.
Spencer's employee. Like get some of
Yeah.
that Spencer's marketing money. Like, but the problem is, it may not.
A lot of times they don't like you to do that. They don't like to intermingle.
Well, you would not work. You would go to Spencer's and be like, "Hey, I was an employee with you for this many years, and now I'm on YouTube."
But you'd have to get to corporate Spencer's because
Yeah.
just being at the store at Spencer's, no one's gonna be able to do
well,
it.
that's where Tom meant because
Yeah.
I know, like, I can make some calls, like, for sure, like. The head of marketing at ABC probably knows this guy who knows this guy who knows the Spencer's guy. You know, like everybody knows you. It's all about networking.
People like that though are fascinating to me, and I like him. I like the whole idea of him in the video camera and he's like, I'm going to use this to do my videos for Twitch.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because the number of people that would say, well, he's doing it all wrong.
No.
There's tons of them.
Well, he's doing it differently, and
He's
that's
doing it different.
And I 100% agree with him. Like he should never change what he's doing. But the thing is, I only know like the radio business or the podcast business. Like it was like there's advertising money, and then you gotta start selling some products. Now you could sell the products you're only interested in, but it's hard to like really only.
Oh yeah.
Like be like pushing or endorsing products you're only interested in.
We got a problem.
What?
In the top shelf aquatics fish tank right now, and I'll go to it live. The snail is on the camera, and it is disgusting. It looks like a V.
Look at its little mouth.
It's very gross. My God, we should have thought of who. Butler, did you move the snail?
Yeah, it's right there.
It's
like,
so gross.
that thing slowly cleans every square inch of the glass.
I mean, when he gets done, the fish tank's going to look amazing. But that snail is eating right now, and it is vile and disgusting.
1 millimeter of circumference at a time. Like one chomp
His
is
tiny
like,
little V.
Yeah, like his mouth
licking it.
so small. But does he nonstop do that? Does he ever rest?
I've
No,
never
it
seen
never
him
stops.
rest.
No, never stops. That thing's always
Can't
moving
stop,
and
won't stop.
pulsating.
Yeah. Does it take a nap?
No.
What's his name? Let's name him.
All right, you want to name him? His name is.
Or are we allowing the listeners on Twitch to name him for a price?
Well, that is our.
Wasn't that what we were supposed to
I
do?
forgot about that.
We will.
God.
It's our charity component, but we have one fish that's missing now.
I know.
We have
need a
three-
search and rescue mission
We have
here.
3 firefish. We put a scallop in there. The scallop buried in a cave, and now he's up in the top of a cave. The last I saw the firefish, he came out on Saturday when I fed him shrimp.
Oh, Butler, get your face out of there.
Oh, Butler,
my
and
God.
he's- All right, we got to
What
take
if
a
he
break.
showed his dong.
Oh, no.
I was like, whoa.
I thought that was a snail.
It is a snail.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's just.
Hey, you guys want to laugh
Quietly
at
watch the
something?
snail,
You guys
what?
want to laugh at something?
Yes.
Butler wears condoms.
Why? You a sailor?
Even that snail
a
doesn't
snailer.
wear condoms. Yeah. Oh, snailers and sailors.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. We'll come back with more A Corporate Time right after this.